All right, let's talk about the one thing that really separates good bridge players from the truly great ones. It's not just about knowing the rules, it's about judgment. We all learn the basics, but the real masters, they know exactly when to break those rules. Today, we're diving into Roy Redlich's fantastic book, Judgment at the Bridge Table, which is going to be our guide to moving past those rigid rules and into real, game-winning instinct.
So let me just ask you this, right at the top. Are you playing by the rules, or are you really playing the cards? If you're an intermediate player, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got the point counts down, you know your conventions, but you feel like you've just hit a wall. This is that moment. The game is asking you to look up from the rulebook and start playing the actual hand you were dealt. So, what is this intermediate plateau? Well, it's that tricky spot where memorizing one more convention just doesn't seem to make you any better. And as Redlich points out in the book, so many players get stuck right here. They've totally mastered the what to do, but they haven't quite grasped the why, or even more importantly, the when.
Oh yeah, we all learn these, don't we? 8, ever. 9, never. Cover and honor, with an honor. Redlich has a great name for them, bridge nursery rhymes. And look, they're super helpful for beginners. They build a great foundation. But the real key to getting better, and what this book teaches so incredibly well, is knowing when to follow those rhymes, and when to have the courage to do the complete opposite.
And this is absolutely crucial. This isn't about just tossing the textbook out the window. Not at all. It's about building a whole new, sophisticated layer of understanding right on top of that foundation. It's about making that leap from being a player who just knows the rules to becoming a strategist who actually uses them. Okay, so where do we even start on this journey? Well, Redlich's first big lesson is a real eye-opener. He says we have to challenge our deep-seated reliance on the high card point system.
You know how it is. We learn to count our points like it's gospel. Ace is 4, king is 3. That's the science part. It's clean. It's easy. But the book argues that a hand's true power, the real art of evaluation, is in its shape, its distribution, and the quality of its suits. A 12-point hand with a 7-card suit can be an absolute monster, while a flat 14-point hand might be a complete dud.
And this quote from the book just hits the nail on the head. I mean, think about it. At the end of the day, the score sheet doesn't ask how many points you had. It only cares about one thing. How many tricks did you take? Points are a great starting point, a language for the auction, but they are not the final word.
In fact, the book gives us a fantastic piece of wisdom for this, a little mantra, beware the square. He's talking about the 4-3-3-3 hand. You know the one. It looks so balanced, so safe, but it's often a trap. It has zero roughing potential, and it's so easy to overvalue if you're only looking at the points.
Okay, let's look at a perfect example straight from the book. You're sitting east and you pick up this hand. 15 high card points. Your brain immediately says, 1 no trump, right? Standard procedure. Looks totally fine.
But here's the problem. It's that square shape again. Those 15 points are spread so evenly that the hand has no punch. There's no long suit to develop, no short suit for roughing, no real dynamism at all. It's a classic example of a hand that is way less than the sum of its parts. It's just vulnerable.
And the result? A painful minus 570. Ouch. A huge set that could have been completely avoided. If East had just exercised a little judgment, downgraded the hand because of its lousy shape, the disaster wouldn't have happened. Honestly, that one insight alone makes this book worth it.
Okay, so that's hand evaluation. Now, let's see how this kind of judgment can totally transform your bidding and help you reach some contracts that on the surface look completely impossible.
Take a good look at these north-south hands. Now, just count the high card points. There's almost nothing there. A combined 16 points. You'd probably be happy to just scrape by in a part-score contract. Well, guess what? Redlich and his partner bid a slam.
And this is where your brain might start to hurt a little bit. A slam? With 16 points? You're supposed to have, what, 32, 33 points for that? They have half. They are missing 3 aces. I mean, how on earth is this even possible? This just flies in the face of every rule we've ever learned.
Okay, here's how they did it. This is pure judgment. First, they recognized that incredible double fit in the minor suits. Second, they understood that with a shape like this, they had almost 0 defensive tricks. If the opponents get the contract, they're scoring big. So you have to compete. You trust the shape, you trust the trick-taking power, and you take a shot at slam. The play itself is just a simple cross-ruff for 12 tricks.
And the payoff for that incredible act of bidding judgment?
A massive plus 1540, a near-perfect board. See? This had nothing to do with counting points. It was all about seeing the real potential hiding in the cards. That's the kind of intuitive bidding this book can help you find.
Now, judgment doesn't just stop after the auction. Oh no. In fact, that's often where the real artistry truly begins. Let's look at a hand where expert judgment during the play turns a sure loser into a brilliant winner.
In this hand, the author is declaring a very tricky 3NT contract. And to make things even harder, his opponents are top-flight players. One of them has literally written books on the game. So the pressure is on. The normal by-the-book play, like taking a finesse, is almost certain to fail here.
But instead of just taking a 50-50 guess, Redlich executes this beautiful strategic plan. He refuses the finesse. Instead, he systematically plays other suits, stripping both defenders of any safe cards they can lead. Then, he deliberately loses a trick, forcing one defender to lead right into his trap. And then, this is the best part, he does it again to the other defender. It's a double end play. Absolutely stunning.
The result was a top score on the board, 97%. And you have to understand, that wasn't luck. It wasn't a lucky guess. It was the direct result of planning ahead, seeing the whole hand, and pulling off a strategy most of us wouldn't even think of.
So as we've seen through all these hands, this book really lays out a clear path for you. It's about making that journey from being a player who just follows rules to becoming a true strategist who understands the deeper principles of the game.
Look, we all know that experience is the best teacher, but man, it can be a slow teacher. What a book like this does so well is it acts like a shortcut. It distills decades of that hard-won experience, all the wins, the tough losses, the aha moments, and presents them as clear, actionable lessons you can use tonight.
And this quote really sums up the whole philosophy. Bridge isn't just math, and it isn't just a guessing game. The players who consistently win are the ones who have mastered both sides. They have that technical foundation, the science, but they pair it with creative, intuitive judgment, the art.
By showing you when to trust shape over points, how to find those wild slams that nobody else sees, and how to outmaneuver even expert opponents, Judgment at the Bridge Table really gives you the tools to elevate your game. So, I guess the only question left is, are you ready to master the art?